I have heard a number of men who complain about being friend-zoned, and I have begun to realize that, as a woman, I often seem to be friend-zoned by men. I have had many male friendships during my life, and while I had a few boyfriends in my teens, I have only ever had one really serious romantic relationship. I currently live with two straight male roommates, and I have become very good friends with both of them. One was a really good friend before I moved in. I would be open to a more romantic relationship with either of them, but they just do not seem interested. One of them even frequently calls me dude, then laughs at himself and shakes his head. He is not laughing at me, fortunately. I guess I just come across as one of the guys, even though I am not masculine presenting. Any clues as to why this might be? Story 1. That just sounds like normal friendship to me, not friend zone. Friend zone is when someone says something like, "I wish I could find someone like you," to you despite you being someone like you. That's the only real friend zone. Everything else is just people thinking they are entitled to a relationship because they are nice to the person or the person smiles at them occasionally. A genuine friendship, which it sounds like you have, is not the friend zone. It is friendship. Also, it is worth noting that despite popular belief among women, men are not mind readers. No matter how much you flirt, we will just assume you are being friendly or flirting for fun. If you have genuine romantic feelings for them and it is not just wanting to date them for the sake of being in a relationship, then tell them. But if you do not have romantic feelings for them, do not try to force yourself to feel something you do not. Just enjoy the friendship. As for being called dude, I call most people dude. I have called partners dude. It is just part of my vocabulary. Not in a "you are a dude" type of way, but more like, "Did you see what happened on the show last night? Dude" kind of way. I also use bro in this way occasionally. On the flip side, I also call male friends bitch sometimes. Just the way I am. Those words are not about gender to me. Neither is friendship. It does not matter what is between your legs. If you are cool to hang with, then you are cool to hang with. Story 2. She was cool and we were close. She had dated 4 or 5 of my friends. Then she wanted to start seeing me. No thanks. Story 3. I am friends with a woman who recently told me she has a crush on me. I told her it is best we stay friends, even though I do find her attractive. The reason is she hangs out with a group of other friends she has previously been intimate with, and she has them stay over at her house. All her friends are men, and the majority are people she has been involved with. She also keeps ex-partners around as friends who still want to be intimate, as they have stated this openly. She is quite promiscuous. Essentially, she is in the friend zone because I see too many red flags for a committed relationship, and I do not want to risk damaging the friendship by becoming intimate. Story 4. Typically, I friend zone women I do not find physically or emotionally attractive or who behave in a way I do not find attractive. Story 5. I currently live with 2 heterosexual male roommates. I would be open to a more romantic relationship with either of them, but they do not seem interested. Can you understand why neither of them wants to risk entering into a relationship with a roommate? What would they do if it goes wrong? Would they have to move out? How do they know you would not be vindictive if hurt romantically? This situation is not unusual or socially unacceptable. Why should either of them consider taking that risk? Story 6. Back when I was single, there was a woman who worked in the same building as me. Her friends tried to set us up, but I wanted no part of it. I was always friendly but never romantically interested because she was a chronic talker about her ex-boyfriends. She would loudly complain about everything related to the men she dated, ranging from bank accounts to personal details to quirks. I wanted no part of being in that situation. I always paid attention to how a woman treats others, including other women. Story 7. He is not attracted to you? You cannot force it. Seems simple enough. It is a bit sad seeing some of the replies saying there must be something wrong with him for turning down a woman. That feels really regressive. Actual reasons, just out of a relationship. Not attracted. Okay. Story 8. I think it is as simple as neither of them being attracted to you. Men typically think it through when having a female roommate. If she is very attractive, they will try to have sex with her as soon as possible. If they are not attracted to her, then it is safe and not a threat to any future girlfriends. Story 9. I looked through your profile after a couple of comments mentioned your other posts. I hope you don't mind. You lost your fiancé relatively recently. I am so sorry for your loss. I cannot imagine how that feels. Also, you have developed a strong crush on your friend to the point where you say you are in love with him. You confessed those feelings at some point, but he did not feel the same way. I assume your friend knows about your late fiancé. He also knows about your intense feelings for him. In your case, I think the friend zoning is a result of him feeling like your feelings for him are an extreme form of rebound and not genuinely sincere. That is on top of the intensity of your feelings, which by itself can put people off. Many people have lost their chance with a friend by coming out with, "I have been in love with you for years," which can blindside and scare the other person. I understand you did not ask for this deep dive, but it seemed like the answers without all the context would not fully address your question. Story 10. You've been crushing on this person for 2 years. You have tried to literally cast a lust spell on them. You live with them. Why are you doing this to yourself? This sounds painful. Take care of yourself, get your life together, and then go find someone. I'm not being funny. You are torturing yourself, and somewhere at the root of that is low self-esteem. Your unsatisfied libido is also affecting you. I know because it happened to me. Good luck. Story 11. Unattractive. Although hooking up with a roommate seems like a bad idea, those men might have avoided it. Story 12:1. They might not want to disrupt the living situation. If you are short on money, which is common these days, it might be an issue. It might be a matter of physical attraction. The women have better beauty tips than I do. Most men are quite visual. I don't think it is about being one of the guys. That is more of a gender role reversal where a man does not act masculine enough. Men would appreciate an attractive woman with masculine interests. If your vibe is truly boyish and that is who you are, try asking a few men out. If you are a science enthusiast, many of those men are shy and may appreciate it. Story 13. In my experience, regardless of your gender, you tend to get friend-zoned when you do not make it clear to others that you are looking for a romantic date or have not asked out the people you are interested in. Story 14. There is a large list of reasons why people might see you just as a friend. Intelligent men do not let their emotions dictate their lives. Chances are there are personality traits and lifestyle choices that make them decide not to engage in a romantic relationship with you. There is a woman at work who wants more with me. She has been trying to connect with me for years, but I will not engage with her. First, she will disrupt my peace. She is that kind of person. Second, I have a rule against getting romantically involved with coworkers. There are always exceptions, but no one has been worth it so far. Story 15. Your post history indicates that you are obsessed with this person. He does not seem interested in you and likely never will be. You are only causing yourself pain. Move on or move out. Story 16. I guess my interpretation of experiences comes from one of two perspectives. 1. I liked her. I tried to connect with her. After 3 attempts, I felt rejected and stopped trying. 2. I didn't like her. We bonded over some shared interest. I still don't have romantic feelings for her. I don't expect to feel safe around women friends. I do expect to feel safe around romantic interests. I am most open to romantic advances at the very beginning, and over time, that interest will quickly fade if those bids for intimate connection are not reciprocated. Story 17. Men are taught to assume a woman is never interested. You have to straight up say, "Hey, I would like to date," for someone to understand. Try doing that. Story 18. I would never want to date a guy who looks at me and another friend and says, either of them, the way you just talked about us. Maybe there is simply no actual chemistry. Story 19. Self-preservation. Do not enter a relationship with someone if ending it will require a protection order and relocating to a different city. Story 20. Do you really want the drama and to be together with your roommates? It would be easier to be casual and just have sex with them. If you do not want the emotional turbulence, just be clear about it. Story 21. Roommates do not want to negatively affect living situations by dating you. Other men, You need to work on your self-confidence and physical appearance. You have given no description of how you look, but if you are not making an effort to improve or at least maintain some level of fitness and attractiveness, finding men interested in more than a brief relationship will be difficult. I do not like it, but that is reality. Story 22. You have received many positive comments, but I will share my perspective. Most likely, you are not attractive enough to your male friends for them to want to have a romantic relationship with you. I am not saying you are unattractive, but if most of your male friends do not express their romantic interest, they probably do not find you attractive. You are enjoyable to be around and likely have a pleasant personality, but not an exceptional one from their point of view. Therefore, you are considered a good and safe friend. Also, the men you spend time with seem like good people. They do not see you merely as a romantic option and treat you as one of their own. If you are interested in one of your roommates, consider asking him out and make sure to clarify that you want it to be a date. However, this could create awkward situations within your group if it does not go well. Story 23. It's the same as for women. Contrary to popular belief, men are not largely desperate and lonely. They sometimes see women as just friends with no sexual or romantic intentions. That does not mean feelings cannot change, though. Story 24. Generally, I find it easier to be friends with women who show no signs of interest in me. None. No flirting, no touching, no compliments or bubbly behavior. Basically, actually being one of the guys. Since that is how you describe yourself, maybe you give these guys no indication that you are into them. Given that you say you are open to dating both these guys, it means you have done nothing to show either of them that you have any interest. Story 25. Why ruin a good friendship? That would be my answer. A good friendship can last a lifetime. The majority of romantic relationships come and go and can end badly. Consider yourself fortunate to be friends with these individuals. Story 26. You mean, despite stereotypes, men in general value friendship and are not sex-starved maniacs? Who would have thought? Story 27. It is not about you. These individuals wisely want to avoid a situation with a high likelihood of destroying the roommate arrangement. Story 28. Have you expressed your interest? I had a female friend as a roommate for 1 year in college. She was attractive and fun, but I set a mental boundary because we were roommates. Over the several years I had known her before then, she never expressed interest. At the time, I was dating someone else, and that was that. Story 29. I have a few friends where there is sexual tension, but we know it would not work out as a relationship due to our personalities. We chose to just be friends because we prefer to maintain a long-term friendship rather than have a fling, get into drama, and have to cut each other off. Story 30. I have friend-zoned many women. If you act like a friend, you will be treated like a friend. If you flirt, then the friend zone is not cemented from the beginning. Story 31. If you are interested in a person you are already friends with, they will now consider the risk to the friendship. Story 32. Being put in the friend zone is actually just being put in the I do not want to have a romantic relationship with you zone. You are not stuck in the friend zone. You choose to stay there. Being stuck in the friend zone is akin to complaining that someone does not want to have a romantic relationship with you. Story 33. Not being honest about intentions and staying when your intentions do not match someone else's. Story 34. No way am I dating a roommate. That would only complicate things for the other person while we were dating and make it uncomfortable for everyone when we eventually split up. Or, in the best case scenario, we get married, and then the other person is stuck without a roommate. Also, it is very likely they just do not find you attractive. For whatever reason, not everyone does, as everyone has their own preferences. Story 35. If they have any common sense, they will not pursue their roommate and risk blowing up their living situation. Other similar situations include not pursuing your friend's sister, friend's crush, coworkers, and so on. It is not worth the trouble it will cause. Also, contrary to popular belief, not all men are interested in all women just because they are attractive. They know you well already. They might simply not be into you. That does not mean there is anything wrong with you. Not everyone is compatible. Speaking for myself, I have many female friends, and I call them dude and bro all the time. I treat them more like one of the guys, but still a little differently because they are women, less aggressive banter, for example. I know them well enough to understand that I do not want to date them. Some are great women but incompatible, and others are great friends but probably questionable in a relationship. I would sleep with about half of them if they approached me for something casual, but I do not try to pursue them. Story 36. They do not find you attractive. It is really that simple. I have several female friends. I would not sleep with any of them. I am sorry if this sounds brutal, but this is the answer you were looking for. Story 37. You are either too unattractive to be seen as an option or too attractive to be seen as an option. It is really that simple with men. Story 38. There are a few reasons for me. 1. She does not meet my physical beauty standards. She does not meet my moral and character standards. She is in a position to seriously harm my life if something goes wrong, for example, we work together. She is or has been my friend's partner. I am being monogamous with my current girlfriend. I am almost never monogamous, so if I am, I am really serious about her. Story 39. A couple of possibilities. 1. You are not attractive to them. I hate to say it, but if you are an attractive woman, regardless of friend status, most men would be interested in their attractive friend. I mean, what is better than an attractive woman you get along with who is into you? Maybe you are attractive, but your energy is off. You give bro energy, meaning one of the guys, and it is just too much and impossible to see you otherwise. You said, I would be open to a more romantic relationship with them, and that strikes me as too desperate. If you said, I have a crush on my friend, or something more specific, then I think it would feel more organic. As you wrote it, it sounds more like you are just interested in a relationship for fun. Story 40. Most likely reason. You are not their type or they find you unattractive. This does not mean you are, though. It is just their taste. Story 41. Perhaps you are more attractive as a friend. One great woman I am friends with is like that. She is beautiful, funny, and a great person all around. But I wouldn't want to date her. The friendship is just too good. I enjoy being her friend and won't risk ruining that. Also, I have seen her in relationships and know that she has completely different standards for men dating her. She is a great friend but an oppressive partner. For me, the guy dating her now likes to follow orders. Story 42. Read through most of this post and your replies. Roommate 1 wants to be celibate. Likely nothing to do with you. You did not get friend-zoned. Now for roommate 2. You say it is a good situation not to be casually tossed aside. The general advice is not to date your roommates. You are also still admittedly holding a torch for roommate 1. You are his roommate. Why would he start something with you? Both of these are great reasons not to start something. I suggest getting on the apps. You say you would be open to dating most men after getting to know them. Cast a wider net. Story 43. It depends on various reasons. From my experience, it is mostly when I see them all the time and we have different personalities. They try too hard to introduce themselves into my life, and it does not happen organically. I cannot see myself spending long periods with someone I cannot connect with on a deep level. Sometimes we come from very different worlds, and we cannot see eye to eye on most things. Small talk becomes forced, and it feels like I am being pressured into spending time with someone rather than enjoying the moment. Can also feel like babysitting a younger sibling or cousin rather than being on an actual date, waiting for it to be over. You should move on and find someone else. It is not worth feeling ignored all the time. Story 44. I have friend-zoned a few because they had quite a bit of emotional baggage or their personality was not what I looked for, even though I was attracted to them. Story 45. Having 2 male roommates and being in a relationship with one of them would be awkward for the other. Story 46. Why might a woman tend to be friend-zoned? I currently live with 2 straight male roommates. I would be open to a more romantic relationship with either of them. How many couples do you know who move in together instantly after getting together? How many people discover some unpleasant things about their partner after moving in with them? Why would they risk drama and issues with rent by getting involved with their female roommate? Even though I am not masculine presenting, how did you determine that? There are many things we do not know about you, and I am not asking you to disclose those online. This is for you to think through and make your own conclusions. Your behavior or demeanor in conversation can be masculine, even if your style is not. We do not know whether you are visually attractive to the men you are considering for a relationship. You could be struggling with competition because you have to compete with women who are more attractive to the type of men you want. You could have children. You could have a career that is so time-consuming that men do not see how a relationship would fit into your lifestyle. Your recreational lifestyle may be unappealing to the men you would consider being with. You could be a felon or have other clear red flags regarding your behavior that make you seem unfit for a relationship. Depending on what you offer and what you are seeking, it could be almost anything. Story 47. I have lost interest in and distanced myself from women after learning about some of the people they have been involved with. This is not because I am jealous, but due to concerns about the quality of those individuals. I am referring to homeless people, drug addicts who cannot keep a job, spend their paychecks on drugs every weekend, rarely shower, and lack a routine of personal hygiene. Story 48. She is not attractive, overweight, has a bad personality, or a combination of all three. Sorry to say it so bluntly, but that is the breakdown. Story 49. I once had a woman sit on my couch, look me in the eyes and say, "I was really hoping to get laid tonight." Guess who did not get laid that night? Use direct words. If you are romantically or sexually interested in someone, say it clearly. Specifically, say, "I think you are cute and I want to go on a date with you." Or, "I think you are attractive and I want to see what your hair looks like from the top between my legs." As an aside, pursuing either of your roommates could make the living situation very awkward or cause problems. If you try and it fails, you still have to live there. If it works, you now have a built-in third wheel who is likely to feel uncomfortable. Maybe wait until one of them moves out or you do. Story 50. Dating often boils down to timing, chemistry, and mutual interests. Maybe you have just been the right girl at the wrong time. Keep being yourself, the right person will recognize your worth. Story 51. Almost every time I read about someone being placed in the friend zone, it usually becomes clear that it is self-imposed because they do not realize that the other person is not interested romantically or sexually. Story 52. Ask them. With the answers, I can help you. It is possible they will tell you that they thought you were not interested. Story 53. Because you are friends, they will avoid making a move to preserve the friendship. Imagine living with someone who rejected you. Another reason is that they are not attracted to you. Story 54. Ooh, that got interesting. Nice guy syndrome does exist. The men who are actually nice, good people, on the other hand, are sometimes oblivious to women who are interested and flirting with them. One time, a woman was blatantly flirting with my fiancé right in front of me, and he had no clue. The best part was when he took hold of my hand and kissed it right in front of her. When I mentioned it to him later, he said, "No way. She wasn't flirting with me. He was such a sweetheart." Story 55. There are several ways, but it depends on the individual. Here are some common reasons. She is unattractive. She is overweight. Or she is disqualified for other reasons, such as smoking, which he finds disgusting, noticing she cheats, or having unrealistic expectations. These reasons vary greatly between individuals. Some men like smoking, others do not. Story 56. I have people in the friend zone because, for whatever reason, they are not someone I would date. I have a longtime friend now who I like enough. We go out and do things a lot, and if you saw us out, you would think we were a couple. But we are not. She is nice, smart, and attractive, but too intense for me. We discussed dating. She really has no sex drive and said that even though she would be very interested, we would be intimate maybe once every few months. So we are just flirty friends. Another friend is older than me. We get along okay. But she has no off button and I cannot keep up. We almost had a friends with benefits relationship, but we decided not to. Story 57. The friend zone is a myth. Look at a crowd of people. Ask yourself honestly if you would happily date every single one of the people you see. Would you? No, you would not. We are all attracted to different things. You are not being friend-zoned. They just are not attracted to you in that way. It is that simple. Story 58. In a roommate situation, unless your roommates are absolutely incapable of weighing risks and rewards, it will never happen unless you explicitly ask for it. Even then, a wise person will not want to destroy the dynamics of the household by dating you. Story 59 might be a matter of principle. I knew a lot of female coworkers I would have liked to pursue, but I chose not to because I did not want to risk losing my job in the process. It would be even more untenable if we were living together. Attraction is another factor, as well as how men tend to categorize women. Avoid one-night stand, casual sex, and long-term relationship. You might be in the casual sex or one-night stand zone from an attraction aspect, but since you are friends, they place you in avoid to protect the relationship. While I have heard of friends attempting a romantic relationship and returning to friendship when it failed, there is plenty of evidence to the contrary as well. Another factor is that if they truly are treating you like one of the guys, they could be keeping any private life separate. They could have a girlfriend or partner they simply do not tell you about. Men's relationships are not something they tend to discuss openly or often. My old roommate and I text back and forth, but we have not discussed his relationship in about 2 years. As others have stated, you can simply broach the subject yourself, but that comes with the risk of destroying what you currently have. Some think friendships between men and women cannot exist, but I disagree. That being said, those relationships have to be upfront in knowing there should not and will not be any romantic feelings involved. Story 60. After a lifetime of being told the friend zone does not exist, there is no such thing as the friend zone, ma'am. Story 61. Girls are almost never in the friend zone. I can almost guarantee if you offered it to either of those guys, they would take it. That being said, there are some things that cause women to be undesirable. Being hot-headed, loud, promiscuous, disagreeable, or argumentative. If you are a straight woman, it is basically impossible to just be one of the guys because you are not a guy. That is the reality of the situation. Story 62. You could be emitting masculine energy, and without seeing a photo of you, it would come down to attraction. Looking at your post history, you seem to be quite intense and seem to be in love with one of them. You went out of your way to move in with him, and they treat you like a brother. I just have this idea of you having unusual colored hairstyles and piercings. You are probably just not their type. Story 63. It is incredibly hostile towards men who are not in the top 10%. Being friend-zoned should be no surprise. You have your own voice. Use it to communicate. Approach men you are interested in. Tell your friends who are criticizing men to stop. Story 64. Woof. Some tough answers here. Realistically, there is no such thing as the friend zone. The friend zone is a made-up concept to justify why someone is not getting romantic attention. There are many reasons men might not see you as available. Some of these include inconvenience, for example. You do not create problems where you live or work. Perception of you being available. Lack of attraction. The good news is that the last one does not happen 100% of the time. Even if you are not conventionally attractive, there is a subset of men who will find your features attractive, and this subset is usually larger than you might expect. However, this does mean you cannot just point at a random man and expect him to find you attractive, even if he seems perfect to you. Therefore, we can dismiss the idea that you are too unattractive for love. Inconvenience is a bit more complex and depends on the man in question. This situation might be one of those, if everywhere you go smells bad, check your shoes cases. You might have unintentionally avoided men with immature personalities who are likely to create problems in a living situation for a night of fun with a slim chance at a long-term relationship. Realistically, starting a new romantic relationship is short-term happiness with a slim chance at long-term partnership. Dating, even without sex, should be fun. Finally, perception of being available has two parts, active and passive. Most men have been affected by modern feminism, and not unjustly, but as a result, they often interpret clear signals from women as ambiguous at best. Besides a small group of dishonest individuals, most men lean toward caution when recognizing flirting, and they usually notice it only when they are the ones initiating. Additionally, modern feminism teaches women that they do not have to dress differently than men, which is their right, but dressing in a feminine way and distinguishing yourself from the opposite sex is a strong passive signal that you want to be seen as a possible sexual partner. This is not meant to be sexist. It is not saying that women should dress provocatively, just that not dressing femininely reduces the likelihood of being recognized as attractive. In conclusion, you could be failing in the flirting department both actively and passively. You can try changing this by altering the way you dress, not necessarily in a provocative way, but ensuring your clothing is definitively feminine in some way, and by changing how you speak to men. Most flirting involves making it clear that you treat a man differently than you would treat other men. Make a man feel special compared to other men and you are in. Story 65. A rare scenario, but let's pretend it's real. If you are unattractive, they like you as a friend. It is as easy to be friends with a woman you find unattractive as it is to be friends with a man. Even better, there is no competition, and hanging out with a woman elicits the interest of other women. If you are an attractive woman, either you are with extremely top-tier faithful men, or they assume they do not qualify. An extremely attractive woman could take a man on as a friend who knows he will never have a chance. If the prospect for even a non-serious relationship exists, there will always be tension. Story 66. People are not put in the friend zone. They settle down there. You are not giving the vibe that you are looking for whatever you want. Story 67. My guess is that you act in a masculine way instead of a feminine way. That is the number one reason why a man would friendzone a woman, besides her being unattractive. Story 68. For starters, you don't have sex with your friends, with some exceptions. The female friends I do have are attractive without it being sexual. I can say one of my male friends is good-looking without it being seen as romantic or having any sexual attraction to him. If a woman feels friend-zoned, it is because she actually respects you or you are giving the vibe or indication that you are not interested. Story 69. Friend zone does not exist. People are either attracted to somebody or they are not. When they are attracted, they do not stop being attracted because they are friends. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.